In his formative years, he acquired a strong sense of justice from his parents.
Dr. Madhav, congratulations for the prize. How do you feel about it?
Feels great. Whenever somebody gives you a pat on the back, it's great. And some people say even gods love praise, so who doesn't like praise? Feels very good. But when you think about it, and it's not a cliche, there's so much to be done. So I say thank you, and it's a great boost for me, for my team, my colleagues.
And why do you think you won the prize?
I think whatever we've done on a large scale, the simplicity of our work, which can be replicated by others, I think that is a signal that there are big problems to be solved, and not necessarily to be solved only by technology. The work we do using resources that normally people don't even think are there, not fussing about buildings and structures. So I think ours is a very, very local indigenous effort, and we've created solutions out of our own soil. I'm not particularly, egoistic about it, but I think that was an effort that came from our own soil. And I think there is a message there that people have to grow things in their own soil. You can get some seeds from outside, but you can't, get them to come and water it.
What kind of an impact does such kind of prizes have on education?
Actually, our award helps us to say, okay, you're doing good work and other people are appreciating it also. But I think more importantly, I see this as the whole thing about the WISE initiative is something that strikes me as very, very interesting. Because all these years, almost a whole century, awards, prizes were awarded in the West. And there was an agenda of peace, of transformation, technology, and so on. And here there is this country called Qatar, and it comes up and basically moves the center of gravity of recognition and awards towards the East, and pins it on education, not on technology, not on oil. And that's fascinating.
So what did you grow in your own soil? Can you tell us more about your project and its impact in India?
When we started work in 94-95 in Mumbai, we had noticed in the very beginning that there was a lack of preschools. And we estimated that about 4,500 preschools were required so that children went to preschool and then went on to the formal education in the school in the first grade or so on. And all this requirement was in the slums. So how do you construct the preschools? Where is the space? Where's the money? We didn't have the money. So if you don't have space, if you don't have money, if you don't have trained manpower, the problem can't be solved. And this is exactly at the point where we said, you just say that these problems don't exist. And say, I don't need a structure, I don't need trained people, I don't need money. And without that, is it possible to work? Yes. If people in their own community say, I will teach children in my own community, you get started. All it needs is about 30,000 volunteers across the country. And we said, can it be done? Oh yeah. If people to people you talk, and you don't even need the Twitter and all that, and the word spread quickly. And every year for the last 7 years, 20 to 30,000 volunteers are trained. They go to about 16,000 villages, visit 330,000 families, and test more than 700,000 children. That is possible if you do a movement.
What about the Read India project? Can you give us more details?
You see, education is three things. One is knowledge, skills, and the third thing, which nobody really stresses, is wisdom. And that's why WISE is a good idea. You see, when we did the annual status of education report in India, we were shocked that after reaching 5th grade, after 4 years of schooling, nearly 50% of the children could neither read properly up to a grade 2 level or could not solve a simple division sum. Now, if you can't do that, then this 50% of the population is not going to be able to access secondary education at all. Mm-hmm. It's not possible. So you have to correct the situation. You have to start from the bottom and make sure all children learn well soon. Learning late is not learning. So you have to start sooner, and those who have gone ahead, there should be some remedial action, make sure that they learn so that they can move forward instead of dropping out.
How many children benefit from your NGO, and is it only inside India, or does it reach beyond the borders of India?
So we were not keen, this organization which started in Mumbai, that it should have branches. But what happened was locally people started taking initiative and a network was born. Similarly, going internationally, we are not keen that we set up branches of Pratham. Some NGOs do that, but we are not in favor of that. We feel that in every country, people have to do their own solution finding. But we are willing to help, we are willing to talk, we are willing to discuss, we are willing to show what we do. But ultimately, you know your own soil.
Your NGO is now known to be like a voice for educational reform. How?
We are going through a very interesting phase. Earlier, only a few people used to talk and others used to listen. Now everybody talks and nobody listens. So I think there is a lot of consensus coming around to the point where, after you've had a lot of noise, you always see that some people cluster together for a solution. I think one major problem, if we can recognize that learning is the problem, schooling is not the problem right now. And if that shift is made, then we would have created another voice.
What are you going to do with the money?
So the money, first thing, is going to go to Pratham. Then we will figure out how to use that money. Everybody will have discussions. $500,000 is quite a bit of money.
What do you say to other people who are working in the field of education?
I think the world has now come to a point where education is a big business, a big point of focus, and this building the new generations is extremely important. So whoever is working in education, that's a great thing to do. On the collaboration side, as I said, I think there are many voices. I think we need to sort of bring the voices together and say, is there one voice emerging? A lot of people want to do innovation, and sometimes there's such a thing as too much innovation. I think there is a time for innovation and there's a time for impacting on scale. I think we need to say, while I innovate, I should also look at for a massive scale impact, and how can I do it?